our recording. Let's do this properly. Hello and good morning, my very beautiful Mad Yogi tribe, and welcome to our part 3 of our Foundations and Flow workshop class. So what we're going to cover today are all of the warriors, or as much as the warrior poses that we can cover, yeah? Because for each flow and each pose of yoga, there's so many things that happens or that is happening in the body. And we can possibly go through each and every little thing. But we are going to go through the key alignments, yeah, that hopefully will keep you safe in your flow and that you can carry over to other poses as well. Okay, so let's set myself up here on the mat. Again, I do have a few assumptions here when we do the class that you are following me. That's one. And two, and most importantly, you are keeping yourself safe, yeah? I'm not there to see what's happening to you, to your poses, to your balance. So please keep yourself safe. There's no right or wrong in our poses. That's why I always give you modifications. But if there were a right and wrong, right is what feels good for you, and wrong is that, is what gives you pain. We never want to go there because pain leads to injury, leads to us stopping our yoga, yeah? And why would we do that? So, warrior poses. There are a myriad of warrior poses and variations as well, yeah? We're going to go through the stances first, how to place our feet in warrior poses, both in the y-axis and the x-axis of our mat. And we are also going to do front-facing warrior poses, side-facing warrior poses, as in warrior 2 and exalted warrior and all that, and single leg balancing warrior poses as well, which is, our warrior 3. So let's get to it. Feet. How the heck do we place our feet in warrior? I'm almost sure that you've heard front foot and back and arch of the back foot, yeah? And that's this. I hope you can see this. Front foot, toes pointing forward, back foot, front heel and back heel alignment. So if you can see in the video, you can barely see my back foot, yeah? So this is, of course, a valid alignment. It is very narrow though. Again, you can barely see my back leg. And it has an element of balance because you can get wobbly in this pose, yeah? If this is too narrow for you, you can have a front heel and back heel alignment, or just open up your feet a little bit more. And this is just as valid, yeah? It gives you more base, so you're not very wobbly. And you can also kind of concentrate on that back leg as well, pushing through that back leg. The very narrow stance, the concentration shifts more to your balance, because again, this is a very narrow base and I never want you to topple out of your poses. A little wider gives you that chance to distribute your awareness, especially to that back leg and that hug and lift, yeah? If this is still too narrow for you, or you're mechanically, you need a wider stance, meaning to say your joints need more space. Or maybe, you may have an injury that, of course, I don't know of, and that demands that you have a wider stance. That's okay too. This is just as valid, yeah? trying to keep your femurs in line with your hip joints though. Meaning to say, maybe not a very, very wide stance like this, yeah? Because then that pinches or has a pinching sensation right here. And in terms of balance, bringing it a little bit, there's not a lot more difference between this stance and an overly wide stance, yeah? So meaning to say, don't go overly wide either. So you have a really narrow stance this way, a little wider, or a little wider, yeah? So you have three settings for that. So that is on the on the x-axis of your mat. So that's side to side alignment. But what about front foot and back foot? How deep is the stance, yeah? It can be anywhere from a very short stance this way, yeah? Especially if the muscles of your legs, especially that back leg, are really, really tight and won't allow you to go into a deep stance, then a short stance this way is fine. Or you can go a little deeper, or even deeper if you want to, yeah? So those are your alignments on the x-axis and the y-axis. So just a quick recap, you can be, I'll do this obliquely. Short and narrow, yeah? Or long and a little wider. And any combination in between. Those are all good, yeah? Short and narrow, long and wide, or long and narrow, and short and wide. Those are good combinations. It all depends, again, on the situation of your hips, your knee joints, your ankle joints, and your sense of balance. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming on again. I apologize. I always sneeze. Moving on. What is the alignment of that front knee? Yeah, let's do the front knee first. Front knee, don't go this way, yeah? Don't bring your front knee past your ankle. It can be in line with your ankle. It can even be paired back. Even if your stance is short and wide, that front knee, don't bring it past your ankle. Bring it in line with your ankle or even a little paired back until that strength and that lengthening in the muscles is built up, yeah? The reason, it's not about how swanky the pose looks with that knee in line with the ankle, yeah? It's not about swankiness. It's about keeping you safe. Because if that front knee is in front of your ankle, the tendency of the body is to bring all of that body weight forward, and there's too much pressure, there's too much forward pressure on this tiny bone, on your patella, and that can lead to knee pains and knee injuries, yeah? And who wants that? And that is why you pair it back, always, please, just in line with your ankle or even paired back. This absolute 90-degree position of your tibia and your femur does not have to be an absolute. Meaning to say, this is not the end all and be all of your pose. This very wide, yeah, and 90-degree angle of this front knee is not the end all and be all of a warrior stance, yeah? If you achieve that, well and good. That just means you've built up that awareness of your body, that balance, that strength in your muscles, and that articulation in your joints. Well, strength and lengthening of your muscles and articulation of the joints, yeah? But if for some reason you have, for example, injuries, or you just want to pare back the pose, why go very, very deep if this is not what you want psychologically and emotionally? Yeah? If you want to just kind of be able to relax in the pose, make it shorter, and when you add your arms, you can deepen the pose emotionally and psychologically, because you can just, once you're safe in a short and narrow pose this way, yeah, you can just relax in the pose. You're still hugging and lifting, you're still isometrically contracting your muscles. That's what gives them that really deep engagement. And you can stay here, yeah? You can just add that breath awareness exercise, that meditative state, because you can shift your awareness from your body to how you're feeling and what's happening in the head. And it becomes a deeper practice with a shallow pose. Words are clunky. You might think that when you hear me say modify your pose or choose a shallower pose, that it somehow has a stigma to it, that you know your yoga practice isn't as developed as others, because other people can go into a really, really deep pose. That is absolutely not true, yeah? So, moving on. We've talked about how your feet are this way and this way, yeah? The length, the depth rather, and the width. Front knee does not have to be absolutely 90 as long as your patella is safe. And that means in line with your ankle or paired back. How about the back leg? The back leg arguably is the most troublesome to assist people with, to teach people to modify, yeah? And that has to do with first, tradition. Second, that idea that we need to cookie cutter ourselves with how other people perform. And yes, I am using the word perform their pose. And the idea as well that modifications are somehow, a cop-out, to use the term, yeah, a cop-out, because we can do the proper pose. Yes, I am using air quotes. Those are all not true. But traditionally, and this is also what I was taught when I started teaching, with the back foot 90 degrees to the long edge of your mat, traditionally, yeah? And other teachers still teach it this way. I teach this back foot, bring it back 45 or 30 degrees. Does not have, in front facing warrior poses, back foot, not 90 degrees, 45 or even 30 degree angles, yeah? The reason for that is if the angle of your hips, yeah, the angle of your leg rather, in relation to your hips and in relation to this socket, your iliofemoral joint. Do it with me, yeah? Again, the assumption here is when I encourage you to do things with me, you are doing it with me, yeah? So that you can feel it in your own body. So, gain your warrior stance. Allow the body to turn into its natural angle, which is this. a little bit diagonally in relation to the front of the room or front of the mat or your front leg. Yeah, back foot is in a 90-degree angle. Now turn to face the front of your mat or front of the room, or where your knee is pointing. Yeah, I already feel that strong twist here in my lumbar spine. I feel I feel strain. I was gonna use tension, but we use that in a different context. But I do feel strain in my iliofemoral joint. I don't feel engagement of my psoas with respect to lengthening it out. Yeah, it's just pulling rather. And I also feel, rather than engagement in my quads, my hamstrings, and my gluteal muscle, rather than engagement, I feel them cramping up. Yeah? Why is that? Because the hips are trying to point forward, the shoulders are also wrenching forward, and you're kind of fighting your own leg. Yeah? You're fighting your own self. But let's come out of that pose. Shake your legs, especially if you did it with me. Yeah? Massage your legs. Now, let's do it differently. Back to your warrior stance, back to this 90-degree angle. When you turn to the front of your mat, twist from the base of the body going up. Yeah? Twist from the base of the body. Never just wrench your shoulders into place and never force the twist, yeah? So, from the navel, sternum, nose pointing forward. Feel for that back foot and let it come with you, yeah? When you turn to the front, let that foot come with you. It will naturally fall in that 45 or 30-degree angles. And this is a safer warrior one. This one gives your from your hip to your foot that chance to angle naturally, and when they're angled naturally, your muscles have that space to engage properly, to lengthen up. What you want to be feeling in this back leg is that engagement of all of your muscles and that lengthening in your psoas muscle, in your hip flexor, which does not only just flex the hips up, yeah, does a whole lot more, but this pose gives your psoas muscle right here that chance to lengthen up in a safe way. You're not just pulling it to lengthen, but you're engaging it, yeah, in an eccentric motion. You're contracting the muscles, but you're lengthening it. And then it shifts, because that joint isn't moving anymore, it shifts into an isometric contraction. So you're squeezing it, you're adding strength and length to that muscle. Now, another reason why that back foot, yeah, needs to be allowed to turn in when you are facing forward in forward-facing warriors is to avoid this. If you can see my foot, if you can zoom in, look at my foot, the blade is lifting up, the inner knee is collapsing in. There's no power in this pose, but there is pain, yeah, because you're angling your joints and you're putting strain on your ligaments and your tendons and your and the arch of the foot as well. You're bringing your joints in unsafe positions, and this is very, very common, yeah? This is very, very common. But if you allow that back leg to turn with you, it's safe and secure. That was the front-facing warrior stance. How about warrior two? And I'll do the other side. How about warrior two? Yeah, the side facing warrior stance. In warrior two, that is when that back foot can come from your 45 or 30-degree angle back to your 90-degree angle, and this is why. Again, it all has to do with your hips, yes? Even in warrior one, it all has to do with your hips and the idea, the concept that you shouldn't be fighting your own body, yeah? In warrior two, it is from a warrior one to a warrior two, it is an open belly twist. So let's twist ourselves open to the side of the mat, yeah? If you don't move that back foot, the strain on that back leg is back, but in different areas. With me, I am now feeling that strong pulling right here in the adductors, pinching back here in the gluteus medius and minimus, the deeper muscle under this muscle right here. It's just pinching, yeah? It's not really contracting and engaging nicely. It's just pinching. The strain on the inside of the knee is back in a different direction, but it's back, it's collapsing in. And now I've introduced a strain right here in the outside of my ankle. Again, without moving that back foot, that back leg, I'm fighting myself here. When you turn, and let's do this together, from a warrior one, with that back foot angled in, turn to a warrior two, and feel for that back leg, allow it again to turn open, yeah? So when we allow the back leg to turn in, facing forward, we allow the back foot to turn open when we're facing the long horizon of the mat in our warrior two stance, yeah? Again, the reason being is the articulation and how the bowl of your, or the socket rather, of your hip joints and the ball are shaped and how they move, yeah? So from here, turning, open, so you're not crowding your groin area, you're not crowding your joints, you're not crowding your side, the side here, the gluteus medius and minimus, you're not crowding them. You're allowing the ball of your hip to just open up. The other thing to remember in warrior two is to pay attention to your front knee. Don't allow it to collapse in, because then you're transferring that strain from the back leg, which we have corrected, to your front leg. Don't allow it to drop in. Have that external rotation sensation in your front hip, and you're allowing the rest of the body to turn. You're anchoring yourself down. This is also why those modifications in your stance is very, very important, because sometimes when you're in your warrior one, yeah, your stance can be nice and deep and long and even narrow front to back. But when you're in your warrior two, your stance might need to soften a little bit and narrow a little bit and even widen a little bit. And just listen to your body, because it is a different sensation. Warrior one stance and warrior two stance are different sensations in the body. And it's not just about pivoting from your torso up, yeah? It's not about just turning this way. The whole of the body moves, yeah? It's a misconception that when you're in a warrior one, it's so easy to open up in a warrior two, and that it's just, your upper body that's moving. It's not. The whole body needs to adjust to where you can sustain the pose in a safe manner. Yeah? So, am I forgetting anything about Warrior 1 and Warrior 2? I think that's it for the warrior stances. The upper body. Yeah? Let's go back. Shake your body out. Shake your body out with me. Upper body positions. Warrior 1. You can lengthen your arms up this way. Or you are really invited to join my classes. Sure, I need to sell, but but my point is this: in my classes, this isn't the only Warrior 1 position. Yeah, you can have the oblation arms. You can have framed arms. You can have candle arms this way. The upper body has a lot more variations that you can mix and match with your stance, with your lower body positions. There's so many choices to choose from. The important thing is the arms lifted up this way are not just lifted up literally and just because. Yeah, meaning to say, when you lift your arms up, you're still reaching up, your hands are still wide. Your hands are still in our circle of the hands position. Yeah? They are still activating as if you're pressing down into the mat. Here you're pressing in to something between your hands without bringing them together. Yeah? This is also my preferred position, open arms. If we don't have those other position of the arms. Because the point here is I feel a lot more engagement when I reach up and press into an invisible something rather than pressing my hands in. Because what that just happens to me, yes, I am engaging the arms and the hands here. For a lot of people, the hands are just kissing here and the arms are not really doing anything, yeah? If they are, there's this pinching, the shoulders tend to lift up, and I'm in a way just strangling myself, yeah? Feel it for yourself, of course. If this is your preferred, then do that, but I do encourage you to try the other ones as well, yeah? To try the other ones. In Warrior 2, palm down is the norm, but you can also do palm up, and that's good as well. So you have a neutral, a bit more of an internal rotation in your glenohumeral joint, or an external rotation, which is also good. The point, though, with the arms, yeah, in whichever position, is the activation of your upper back. So they're not just hanging in space, but they're contracting. And you're lengthening your arms out, you're lengthening through your fingers, you're feeling as if you're pressing your hands either down or up, but the point is you're engaging your muscles. Your arms are never just hanging in space, they are still engaging, yeah? Now, what else? That's Warrior 1, Warrior 2. All the other warrior stances like humble warrior or extended warrior, we can go through during our short flow. But I want you to remember the position of the legs. Last one, Warrior 3. Yeah? Warrior 3 traditionally is this. With your arms forward, your leg up, your body is in a T-shaped position. I have seen a lot of students struggle with that angle, that T-shaped angle, yeah? Especially with the arms forward. And again, let's modify the pose. Warrior 3 doesn't absolutely have to have your arms forward, especially if in this pose, yeah, we will do this in my extended warrior, with the side of your belly down on your thigh, but your chest is lifted up, your head is lifted up, and your arms are forward, and you're contracting your arms. If in this pose your arms are forward or they feel very heavy, they will absolutely feel very heavy when you lift that back leg off. Yeah? So what I actually prefer teaching in Warrior 3, I'll do it this way, is with your arms behind and you're squeezing. You can, if you want your arms in a T-shaped formation or a cross formation this way, you can do that too. But I do encourage you to squeeze your armpits, squeeze your triceps, bring your arms to the back. What does that do? That adds engagement of your triceps. Yeah, you're squeezing it. We are able to benefit a whole lot more in a single pose. And the angle of your Warrior 3 does not have to be that absolute T shape. Yeah? High head, low foot. You're lengthening up this way. Those toes can even kiss down on the mat. Yeah? Or angle a little bit more, or angle a little bit more. If you're feeling confident and you've done this a lot, you can even have a high foot and a low head. And you're still squeezing so much more from the pose. The key to bringing that back leg up in any back lifted leg pose is to squeeze, to engage your back muscles and to engage your gluteal muscle. Yeah? So it's not just mechanically lifting it up. It's never forcing that leg up. It's squeezing that gluteal muscle to lift that leg up. Gluteal muscle, back muscles. Yeah? It's also pushing through this standing leg. Meaning to say, and I have to support myself here, meaning to say, don't, how shall I show it? Don't collapse. Yeah, if you can see that, don't collapse your hip out to the side just to gain that depth in your pose. Push through this standing leg, feel that lift of the body, that lengthening, and that hug and lift. And then you can angle the body. It is very strong for the standing leg. It's so easy to just collapse our hips out to the side, yeah, in balancing poses. But bring that in by lengthening up, yeah. You're not just pushing it in, you're lengthening your body up and you're stabilizing the pose. And you can come into your balancing poses this way. Now, what else? I think we should just do our flow now and listen to the instructions. You're more than welcome to rewind or pause or do whatever on replay. But now, let's come and do our what I lovingly call my Phoenix Warrior, yeah? So let's come to the top of the mat. This is the flow portion of our foundations and flow, and we'll be bringing all of those in. So roll your shoulders, deep, full breath. Pump your heels. Again, a very quick review. Feet 1 hip width distance. From here, bring the backs of the hands together, soften your knees, wave your spine up, wave your arms up, upward facing hands. Lengthening the arms up, they're never just hanging in space. Push our hips forward. We covered our back bends previously. Squeeze the front line of the body to lift, hands in, Elbows press in, make an effort to press them in. Knees bend, bow down, forward fold. Quick review, curve of the thumb on the curve, on the outline of your toes. Thumb and big toe a little bit aligned. Doesn't have to be absolutely aligned. Let the head go. Inhale, wave up halfway, finger pads high on your shins. Push through your arms. It's a cause and effect. Yeah, it's a unstoppable force, unmovable object. So something has to give, something has to translate and transmit that energy, physical energy, not woo energy. Exhale all the way down. Now let's do our warriors. Left leg curls up, step it back on the flat of your toes. Walk your hands a little bit backward until that back heel is down on the mat. Gain your warrior stance. As we talked about, check in with your front knee, already align it to your heel or pair it back. Backs of the hands together, extended warrior. Keep the belly down on your thigh, but wave the thoracic up, wave the cervical spine up, lift the head up, and bring your arms forward. Alignment of your arm to your head, bicep in line with your cheekbone, or squeeze your upper back a little bit more in line with your ear, or squeeze it a lot more and bring it behind your head. Push through your front leg, soften your upper body, wave yourself up, checking in with the angle of that back leg, and then re-engage the muscles. So we soften in transitions. Once you're in the pose, you hug and lift. You engage the body. Deep, full breath. Soften the upper body, open belly twist to the left side. Again, feel for that back leg, allow it to move, extend the arms, warrior two. Once you're in the pose, reset the body, hug and lift, engage in the body. Deep, full breath. And exhale, relax. I want you to feel that engagement, that squeeze and release, yeah? Back arm around your back waist. Left forward arm, wave it up. Use your joints. Never just hinge on your big joints. Push your hips forward to your front foot, allowing your spine to catch that, transference of energy. And you're in your exalted warrior. Exalted warrior. Squeeze your right side, release. Melt forward and down. This time, hands a la plank on the arch side of your foot. Your arms, your hands, and your shoulders can angle a little bit into what is natural, yeah? Because forcing forward just adds a little bit more layer that you don't need at the moment. So allow your body to turn. This also gives you that space, if you want to bend your elbows and come into your humble warrior. If your arm, if you were facing forward, your right arm and right leg is a little bit crowded. Yeah? So angle yourself. Humble warrior. From here, come back to the front. This time, right arm and shoulder can come back to the right side and your body is freer to point back to the top horizon of your mat. Now, warrior three, body weight forward. Strong front leg, push yourself up. And let's do a high warrior three. High head, low foot, push through that standing leg and engage your back muscles. From the sole of your foot up your calf, your hamstrings, your gluteal muscles, your latissimus dorsi. From our warrior three, squeezing the back muscles. Soften your front knee, back foot down to the mat. Melt forward and down. And let's do some side sweeping lunges. Sweep to the left, to the right, left. By the way, if you're mirroring me, just go with it. Yeah, just go with your side. And turn to your left foot. Turn your feet, coming into your warrior stance from this low position. If you were mirroring me, this would be your right foot, yeah? From here, gain your warrior one or your front-facing warrior stance. Backs of the hands together, strong front leg. Wave the thoracic up, wave the cervical spine up. Extend your arms forward and then reset the engagement of your upper back. Extended warrior. From here, push strongly through your front leg. Allow your upper body and your arms to soften. Soft always during our transition. Once you're in your pose, hug and lift. Lengthening the body, hugging and lifting. Feel that activation of your psoas, yeah, like we talked about. Warrior two, soften the body, open belly twist. Allow that back leg to adjust. Warrior two. Head by the way of warrior two. Gaze pointing towards your front hand. Or if you have any neck issues, any angle that your neck deems that it's neutral. Yeah, neutral angle with the neck. Or a bit of a twist. Soften your body here. Back arm around the back waist. Forward arm, wave it up. Again, never just hinge on your big joints. Allow your other joints to join the party, yeah? Push your hips forward towards your front leg and allow that letter C of the body to come in. Deep, full breath. Squeeze the left side of your body to release the pose. Hands down on the mat. Again, angle your body where it will naturally fall. Maybe not to the long horizon of your mat, yeah? Just in that natural diagonal position. Push through your arms into the circles of your hands if this is deep enough for you. Or if you want to, bend your elbows to the back and come into a really, really deep, humble warrior. In this pose, the back leg is still in your warrior two position, yeah? But feel for your body because sometimes I can turn my leg in and that feels okay for me. The key is safety, yeah? Release the pose, push through your front leg, release the pose, lift yourself up, left shoulder and arm to the left side, level your hips, level your shoulders. Coming into your warrior three, body weight forward, strong front leg, and push yourself up. You're squeezing yourself up, you're engaging your back muscles. From your foot, all the way to your triceps, all the way to your upper back. Deep, full breath. Back foot down, melt forward and down, side sweeping lunge. Just soften, neutralize the big joints. Fan yourself a little bit with the air movements around your body as you're doing this. And back to center and sit down. And I hope you enjoyed part 3 of our foundations and flow. We are going to cover, what are we going to cover next week? Next week, we are doing our sun salutation B. So we are covering everyone's favorite, the chair pose. Yeah? I don't think anyone's ever really said their favorite is the chair pose. However, because it does give a lot of people lower back pains. We are going to go through chair pose in detail because it should never give you lower back pains, yeah? Chair pose should never give you lower back pains. Anyway, we will do that next week. I'll go through my notes and see what else we are supposed to do next week, but we're going to do Sun Salutation B with the Phoenix Warrior inserted in when we do the Warrior 1 in our Sun Salutation B. We're going to insert the Phoenix Warrior, so it's going to be a little bit longer. The flow is going to be a little bit longer. The foundations will be shorter. Yeah, because we've already done all of the other foundation work, so that we can do next week's flow in a safe and very, very much enjoyable manner. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week. See you then. Bye. Thank you for being here. Bye.